Hey guys, it's Holly and I am finally back home now, even though I'm going to be leaving in like 3.5 weeks for Brickheadz, Chicago, which if you didn't know, I feel like I've talked about it so much at this point, but if you didn't know, I am going to Brickheadz, Chicago this year. I'm very, very excited. A ton of my friends are going to be there. It's going to be fantastic. If you're going, come say hi. I'm very excited, but it should be really, really good. Also, if you didn't see on Instagram, I have COVID. Yeah, that was fun. I genuinely thought it was just like hay fever because last time I went to the UK in like 2018 or something at this time of year, I had really bad hay fever. Like all I've got is a blocked nose. Otherwise, I feel perfectly fine. In fact, I feel just like normal. I mean, the only reason I found out was because of the travel test that you have to get when you return, but I've been locked inside my room ever since I got back while I sort of got over it because I just don't want to go and infect my entire family when at the moment, at least, they are all perfectly fine. But I asked you guys on Instagram as well as my community tab if you had any questions for me because I just thought it would be nice to sort of give a little bit of a break in between the onslaught of Harry Potter content recently, and these are the ones I picked. So the first question is any new Harry Potter MOCs coming, which is also, I guess, followed up by what set are you wanting to tackle modding first? So there are a couple of things that I have planned. Firstly, I really want to try and get a second Ministry of Magic. I mean, that's going to be a lot harder now that I'm not in the UK anymore, but I want to get two of them and try and combine them together. I also really want to try and put Grimmauld Place on like a modular style base plate and sort of make like a modular street front sort of thing. And then the one that I have ended up doing first actually is the Hungarian Horntail, where I've attempted to take it off of its base, which should be tomorrow's video hopefully, which ended up actually being incredibly easy, and I really hope that for anyone who is interested in doing that for themselves, that you find it incredibly informative. But those are my current projects. I also really want to do like an Umbridge's office in like the modular Hogwarts style of things, especially now that the Ministry of Magic has got like the cat plates and all of that. I've wanted to do it for a while and I feel like now is finally the time for that. Besides that, I don't think there are any more. I mean, part of me really wants to try and like modify and upgrade in a way like the Sirius's like escape one. That's not even the set name. But you know what I mean? I want to like modify that one, but I'm not 100% sure on that, but those are all of my current projects. Are you gonna buy the Thor Love and Thunder sets? I originally was planning on buying the goat boat. That smaller one I just think is absolutely terrible. Just no thank you. But the goat boat, I really like the idea of the set and I feel like the build is really cool. It looks a lot longer than I initially thought it was as well. Plus the minifigures are amazing, which at the end of the day is unfortunately why I buy most Marvel sets, because like the builds have been pretty lacking over the last few years, especially this year. I say last few years, last year was fantastic and then this year like kinda sucks. It's currently 20% off on Amazon, which made me incredibly tempted. I'll also leave an affiliate link in the description if anyone did want to pick that up while it's on sale, but I still am not sure. I know that Amazon can like usually push things to a further discount later on in time, like Gargantos Showdown at the moment is like almost 50% off, so I'm thinking I might just like sit and wait on that for a little bit longer. Like I'm in no rush to get the Thor minifigure. I do have an idea for like an upgrade video on him, like I usually do in like my Marvel series sort of thing, but I'm just in no rush. I like the set, but I'm not in love with it, and I feel like I'm just sort of like falling out of Lego Marvel. Like I'm just gonna buy minifigures and that's about it for a while, but that is one that I do consider picking up eventually. Looking back, what set do you regret not getting? All right, let's take it back to like good old, what was it, like 2011, 2012. One set, like most people I had my eye on back then, was An Unexpected Gathering. I loved that set. I was a huge fan of The Hobbit. Like I just watched Lord of the Rings for the first time and I was like, this set is awesome. I loved it. I had plans on getting it. The only problem was I didn't have the money and my parents weren't buying it for me, and it was just like an overall struggle. They were like, why are you still buying a Lego? And then one of my friends at the time from primary school, her parents bought it for her, so I got to like see the set in person and I was like, wow, this is amazing. Like it's so cool. And then I sort of forgot about it, and then like most people, you sort of remember all of the sets that you wanted when you were younger, and I look at the price now and I'm just like, yeah, that's not happening. I mean, it's more realistic than the Black Pearl, which is another one that I regret not buying, and same with like the Queen Anne's Revenge. I really wanted both of those sets. Again, she had the Queen Anne's Revenge and another one of my friends has the Black Pearl and still has the Black Pearl to this day, and I'm just like, oh man, like they're just too expensive though. I cannot do it. I cannot bring myself to spend that money, but I loved them. They're amazing. I regret not getting it, but just, yeah. Probably not gonna get it. What video are you the most proud of making? There's a couple that come to mind. I mean, usually they are the ones that take me a lot longer to edit, and I feel like that's purely because I'm like putting more of my time, effort, and energy into making it. So the reward and like seeing it like come together is a lot better for me. Some of the ones that I really, really love are personally the Butthole Tiger review. I just found that incredibly fun to film, and I feel like the whole style of it turned out really good for what was a video that I thought was gonna do really badly. That did pleasantly surprise me. Same with my Clone Army video, and I think that is my answer definitely for this. I am really proud of that because like it all of a sudden just came to me because I was just like buying so many things, and I was like, well, I kind of want to make like a mockery but like also show off my figures at the same time, and just like the whole Clone Army concept sort of thing. Like it, to me, it literally for years just looked like minifigures on a base plate, so I really wanted to sort of have fun with that, but also like explain what Clone Army building is for anyone who didn't know. I loved that video. It was a lot of fun to make as well. I wish I could do something else like that, but I'm stumped for ideas. But those two I absolutely love, and they are some of the ones that I am the most proud of. Any more updates on your Hogwarts castle? Loved what you were doing with it before. Unfortunately, that sort of like section, like I don't think I'm ever going to be working on again, purely because like after I built my microscale Hogwarts castle, I put majority of those sets away. I just didn't need them anymore. I didn't modify the interiors. So unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to do any more expansions on that. However, I do still make a lot of like custom students occasionally, and have been like having fun modifying like different rooms inside the newer Hogwarts system. I don't think I'm ever going to make like a giant display of things, but I love making rooms that Lego just haven't attempted. So I'd really love to like retry doing the kitchens in there. Again, like I said earlier, Umbridge's office as well, I really want to do in them. I did start doing like all of the common rooms. I never ended up finishing Ravenclaw's because I just got stumped and I didn't know what to do with it, and I think I had to like rebuild it in order to like combine all of the Hogwartses together. But that is another thing that I would really love to try and do. I started doing a Quidditch pitch. Didn't get very far. The pieces that I needed arrived, and I like sort of still got it like half built. I just feel like I don't have space for that one, unfortunately, but that is another one that I do really want to try and finish one day. What are some rare old school Lego Star Wars sets that you're trying to get? Yeah, this is a bit of a problem. So if you know anything about me, I usually don't try and buy a retired Lego Star Wars just because it's super expensive. However, I finished the Clone Wars and I'm now watching Rebels, which means I'm in really, really, really big trouble because a lot of those characters and a lot of those minifigures have not been made in years. Usually with sets, I'm pretty good. Usually I don't go and buy anything besides like, I mean, I guess I bought Jabba's Palace and like the 20th anniversary Slave One. Other than that, I don't think I've ever really bought a retired Lego Star Wars set. Like I got a really good deal on like a Death Star one once, and that was about it. Not like the Death Star, but like this Death Star one. Yeah, that one. I got a good deal on that. Otherwise, I don't really go looking. However, I'm watching Rebels, and the Ghost is a really good looking ship. So much so that I'm like in this down spiral right now where I've been like looking at ghosts, and like then I realized I also needed the Phantoms to stick on the back of it, and then I want to have like the entire crew, so I'm working out how I can get Sabine and how much all of these figures are going to cost me to in order to get like the entire crew. I mean, ideally I'd like Ahsoka as well, but like that's not happening. To get like the entire crew as well as the Ghost plus the Phantom, and then like call it a day, because that's all I really need at the end of the day. I've got Thrawn, I'm fine. I haven't even gotten that far yet. I've only finished season 1, but I've been trying to plan it out. And like, I personally really don't care about black-haired Kanan. Like, it's not accurate. I think the brown-haired one's better. So I'm even tempted to like buy one with black-haired Kanan, then try and sell that minifigure to recoup some of the cost, and then like buy just the regular brown-haired Kanan. But another problem is, I'm going to Brickheadz Chicago in 3 weeks, so there's no point in me buying these sets when there's going to be like yard sales, and I'm going to go to Atlanta Brick Co. and Bricks and Minifigs and all of that, because I know that there's going to be stuff that I want there. So I'm sort of like, do I just like sit back and not do anything? Ideally, yes, that's what I should do. I really don't need to be spending that amount of money on Lego Star Wars sets like that. They are ridiculous, the Rebels sets, but that is definitely one that I really, really, really want. So if anyone is showing up to Brickheadz Chicago with a Ghost, hit me up. Do you feel like Australia has their sets shelf lives cut unnecessarily early? I do, in most cases. There are some cases where I feel like roughly, or at least for the most part, they stay the same as like other countries, like Modulars and things like that, as well as like the UCS Falcon. But there are a lot of smaller sets, specifically I noticed with Star Wars, that just like don't exist. If you're very, very, very lucky, they might come back in stock on Lego Shop at Home, but you are never gonna find them on shelves again, which makes the period of like getting a set for like a good sale price and like missing it entirely and then having to pay full price or retired prices incredibly slim. Like I see so many Lego Star Wars sets, like especially when I go and visit like the US and I go to Target or Walmart, like pretty much the entire range is still on shelves, but like in Australia you have to go online to find them. Like I think back to like the Imperial Marauder transport that I like bought for May the 4th because I was just like, it's not on stock, like it hasn't been on shelves. I mean, it's definitely not on stock on Shop at Home, which then of course in typical fashion it came back in stock on Shop at Home. But like the AAT as well, there's like the whole issue with like the 501st in Australia, which my ones did in fact arrive recently, which was really nice. Even with like Harry Potter, there was a couple of cases like that, like the Aragog set from like the first wave, as well as like Quidditch, I feel like was gone pretty like quickly, and then like sometimes it would come back in stores and like other times it would disappear. It's like majority of like the small sets. Of course there are some that just like I find don't sell well and they typically retire early, but then there are other things like on like the Lego stores like proper website, which is different to the Lego Shop at Home in Australia for anyone who didn't know. They were saying that like the X-Wing is retiring, and I'm just like, how? Like that was a pretty like solid set, I thought. Like was it really selling that badly? I don't know. I just feel like we get the short end of the stick because we're in sort of like the Asia region. Like our market is growing, like we're doing pretty solid, but like we just have the worst luck ever, and like it just makes it so hard to buy sets as a Lego fan in Australia. Luckily I'm just like, I can like go and get these sets in other ways, but not everyone is that fortunate, so it makes it incredibly hard to just like time when you're supposed to be buying things. But a great indicator, like I said, for any Australians is to check the like Bricks Megastore, I believe it's called off the top of my head, website, and they will say like when things are retiring soon. And that typically means like in store, not just like on the Shop at Home, and sometimes they'll even be discounted, which is really good. What's a set you'd recommend for someone in the $20 to $40 range? I feel like this price range has been like the absolute best over the last couple of years. Firstly, there's like the Dark Trooper set, which I absolutely love. I mean, I'm assuming you're talking about US dollars. There's the Dark Trooper set, the Republic Fighter tank. I mean, I haven't built it yet, but personally, I love the minifigure selection in that set, and the model is like good enough for me to be like, yeah, this is a great set. There was also the Polyjuice Potion bathroom from Lego Harry Potter. Out of Marvel, I mean, Brothor's house though, yeah, that one was really good. I feel like there are a couple like other like kind of good ones, but at the end of the day, it's mostly minifigures for them. Those are like the ones that come to my mind like straight off the top of my head. Like I absolutely love them. Again, if you're really into minifigures, the Marvel mechs, like while the set isn't that great, you get some great minifigures. So I feel like they are still really good value, and I mean, they're even cheaper than the $20 price range. Also for Lego Harry Potter, I personally really enjoy the books. Like I feel like they're a pretty neat set and they look really good on display. I understand that they're not for everyone, but that is something as well that I think is really good and worth looking into. Not to mention on like the higher end of the price range, of course, you've got the 501st set as well as the AAT. I mean, there are so many different options. Specifically for Star Wars, I feel like has the greatest range and just like best value in terms of things, but there are some other great options for other themes as well. I love that price point. Those are personally my favorites. I don't think you can go wrong with any of them. Quality versus quantity. Would you rather have all of the 2018 style or modular style Hogwarts sets? For me, I would much rather like just have the 2018 ones until like 2020 and call it a day. I love the exterior on those things. They look like the Hogwarts towers, which I feel like you don't really get with the modular system because it's trying to be a modular system. Like we've definitely gotten better exteriors this year, but they still don't look like Hogwarts the way that the 2018 ones did. I think just like get like the 3 or 4 of them and like you're set, like you're all good. Like I love the modular ones and like the customizability. I think they're great play sets, but I'm just like, I'm not an overall like huge fan of them. Like they're cool and all, but they just don't look how I want them to look in an ideal world. Like I'm happy with just my 4. And if I wasn't a completionist and I wasn't making like review videos or things like that, like I probably wouldn't be buying majority of like the newer Hogwarts castles. Like the minifigures are great in them, but I can just buy them on their own. I don't need any more Hogwarts castles. Like I'm set with my like 2018 range. However, because I make reviews on them and I'm a completionist with this thing and ideally I want to have every single Lego Harry Potter set, I will continue to buy them all, but they pretty much just go straight into storage right now because I do not have space to store them all. My SD card was full, so it cut me off. So let's continue, starting off with this next question, which I found really interesting. It says, I noticed a pair of land members review Starry Night and had the same descriptive term in the thumbnail. I haven't watched, but it had me wondering, does land encourage or coerce members to review or present a set a certain way? Also, with all your bad experiences with them, what were some positives that you got out of it? So first part of the question is you don't at all get anything from them. Literally all the review offer says is the theme and the set number, and then if it's like something brand new, maybe you'll get like one keyword that sort of heads towards it, then it's got like the embargo information, the release date information, and then just like the terms, I guess, of the agreement behind a review offer saying, hey, you have to make content and you have to like do a report on it, hopefully within like 30 days and no earlier than 7, and that's literally about it. I reckon it's probably just people like sort of coming up with the same name and not really having that many adjectives to use and could probably use with reading a dictionary. Same goes for me. I mean, I don't have the most descriptive terms of all. I mean, it makes sense. Like, often you get quite a bit of, like, overlap with stuff like that. Like, I know when an embargo would lift, like, unless someone is, like, telling me what they're making, you have no idea. So it's like you would look at people's content and see a bit of overlap some of the time. And, I mean, that's just natural, I guess, with just, like, any YouTube content that's sort of, like, covering the same thing. But I didn't notice that personally, and I do find that kind of interesting. Second part of the question though, the best part was definitely the people that you would meet on there. I met so many different people and just like various content creators that are all posting like different things on like different platforms, whether that be like Instagram or like a blog, and everyone's just like covering different content. It was amazing. I met so many people, heard so many things, learned a lot from different people, and it was amazing. And the best part about it is that I can continue that. I still know these people. I can still reach out to these people if I wanted to on Instagram, and Lan won't take that away. The community and just the people you meet and the stories you hear and the things you learn is definitely the best part about that program. Not really a question, but I thought this was kind of interesting. Flip a coin. Tails, I buy the UCS AT-AT. Heads, I'm banning the UCS Falcon. It's up to me. Oh dear, where's a coin? All right, we're using this 20-cent coin, so let's go. And tails. Wait, what was tails? Tails is the UCS AT-AT. Oh, I'm kind of Devo. I was really hoping for heads, so you get the Falcon. I mean, it's not up to me, it's up to you, but there you go. Your answer is tails. As someone who is not super familiar with LEGO Harry Potter, one of the big criticisms of the LEGO Star Wars design team is that they don't appear to have their finger on the pulse of the community with respect to communication and how they treat their fans. Would you say the LEGO Harry Potter team is better than this? I love this question. Thank you, David, for asking it. Now, there is no denying that the LEGO Star Wars team has really slipped up, and what I personally feel as well is that they don't seem to like completely like listen, I guess, to like the feedback and just like the comments of like some of their demographic. They really seem to cater towards like the older AFOLs who like grew up with the original trilogy, and I mean just LEGO as a whole seems to like neglect like the young adult market, which is why I feel like there is quite an absence of like prequel stuff, especially recently. Like, there seems to be doing pretty good with Clone Wars recently, and there's been a lot of variety in that area, but the prequels specifically, I feel like there has sort of been lacking. And Harry Potter, especially this year, it really seems like the design team are listening, and I do have to agree that just like the design team in general for LEGO Harry Potter seems to just be more engaged with the community as a whole. For example, the LEGO Harry Potter team all went to the set tour recently, and I imagine that was to do research for upcoming products and things like that. Like the designer of Grimmauld Place, George Gillett, who was also behind the good old Butthole Tiger, was literally in London, like going and looking at the buildings, and it was amazing to see. Like, they all seem very active on social media and just really engaged, I guess, with what the fans and what people are saying. They're really taking the criticisms on board. They're taking the suggestions on board. And they all seem incredibly passionate as well and seem to want to do a variety from a variety of different films, which is, I think the problem is with Star Wars is there's not a lot of variety across everything. Now, given Star Wars has a lot more films and I guess content to pull things from, but it all steers very heavily towards the original trilogy, and it leaves a lot of people, including myself, just wanting different things, wanting things that we haven't had for years, and we're getting remakes of like the same old stuff all the time, which is why I feel like there is a huge disconnect. They also just don't seem to be as close with like the online Lego community, and I feel like that is your best piece of feedback and like best source of communication. There's also been so many slip-ups, and it just overall feels like the just heart isn't in it when it comes to like not original trilogy stuff, and I think that has been the big issue. It also makes me wonder if like things will be different in like a couple of years time, maybe as like the team switches out and you get some like new designers in, like will it be a big shift? I definitely think that they are listening to some degree, but it really feels like it has to be like a really, really big push in order to like get a reaction, whereas like Harry Potter, it's kind of just like, hey, we'd like some Deathly Hallows stuff, like why isn't it being made? And then all of a sudden it appears. So like luckily, like we are very fortunate, and I am very grateful for the Lego Harry Potter design team. I think they are fantastic, and they have been doing some amazing work. Like even look at last year's sets, they were a bit more disappointing, and then you look at how big of an improvement you've had this year. Like it really just shows like growth, and it is amazing to see as a customer. Whereas I look at Lego Star Wars and it's like it's taking a while. Like we get there in the end sometimes, but like it's a lot more painful. And then you just have like the comments that come out from the design teams, and overall it's disappointing. They do some amazing sets, but it just, when it comes down to like I guess like demand and variety, it's just really not there. Spectacular products, but just it's a bit lacking sometimes, which is unfortunate. And I really hope that one day like things will change. I have hope that things will change, but at the moment, I mean, it's left a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths, and I think it's going to take a while for that to sort of be brought back and just, I guess, revived and refreshed. What do you think about the new Harry Potter Brickheadz? Yeah, I never made a video on these. I remember they came out and I was busy and I was like, ah, oh, damn it. Don't really have time to sit and do this. I mean, that's the problem with me being on holiday. But overall, I really like them. I mean, I wasn't like a huge fan of like Brickheadz to begin with, and then I got a couple of them and I got really into them. I mean, I don't really display them, but I definitely collect them, and these ones are no exception. I'm definitely going to be picking them up. I mean, it's not something that usually shows up in a regular store, so I'll probably just get them day one because like the price difference doesn't really make any difference to me. I love the design of McGonagall especially. I think she is fantastic, and I'm glad that they're doing more of them. I'm surprised that it's like a 4-pack. Personally, I feel like I would have preferred like a 2-pack, even though if like it still added up to be the same price, like I probably wouldn't care. I feel like just having like 2 different boxes makes it a bit more bearable than trying to like cough up the full amount at once. But they look amazing. Snape as well looks really awesome. I'm shocked that they did like Trelawney and Mad-Eye Moody. I mean, I guess it's just to like match up with what like Hogwarts Moments books are on sale at the moment. Like you look at it, you've got Potions, Transfiguration, Defense Against the Dark Arts, and Divination, and it matches up perfectly with them. Like I could have sworn that it was going to be like the House Founders, but apparently not. But on that note, those are all of the questions for today. Thank you guys so much for sending all of them in. Starting to feel a bit tired now that the jet lag's kicking in. It's like 3 p.m. This is going to be a very, very long week of like trying to recover from all of this. Gosh, I'm in for the world of pain. Again, I will be at Brickworld Chicago next month, so if you are coming along and you happen to see me, please come and say hi. I promise I don't bite. I just do sometimes get a bit awkward in social situations. Just a big warning. And I'll probably do another Q&A as well next month, so stay tuned to my Instagram as well as the community tab page to write in your questions as and when this video will be under production. Can you tell I'm like super tired? Alright, if you guys enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, consider subscribing to my channel down below, and until next time guys, I'll see you later.